This episode of the Chanarant Podcast is brought to you by MacLellan Bagpipes, proudly made in North America by artesian bagpipe maker Roddy MacLellan from Eust, Scotland. At MacLellan Bagpipes, they don't strive to be the biggest, fastest, or the cheapest. They do, however, meticulously craft a small number of the best-sounding and most beautiful-looking bagpipes in the world since their beginning in 1988. Over the years, MacLellan Bagpipes has established a solid reputation for rich, warm, and stable tone, created with incredible craftsmanship and instruments of heirloom quality and unparalleled beauty. Head to BespokeBagpipes.com to learn more about their innovations like the new Elevation Chanter, which features a lower-pitched richness inspired by the classic top hand of older chanters and sustainable solutions like the Revelation Bagpipe, a Delrin instrument featuring bores lined with a cellulose polymer sleeve giving you the structural benefits of a Delrin instrument while maintaining a refined wood-like sound. Check out MacLellan Bagpipes' diverse line of instruments and learn more about their restoration work on vintage bagpipes by visiting their website at BespokeBagpipes.com. MacLellan Bagpipes, born in Scotland, made in the USA. We probably should get the music out for that at some point.
I don't ever want to play that live.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll dub in something else on the audio edit.
That was an insult to bagpipes and America.
That's what we do here, insult people. And institutions and everything.
And with that, welcome everyone to the Chanarant Podcast. My name is Josh. With me, as always, is my bearded co-host, Mr. Andy Fusco.
That's me.
And if you didn't know, now we're going to tell you the only thing more harmful to your ears than that tune we played at the beginning will be our language. So you have 5 seconds to listen to something else. That's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fuck America.
Fuck.
Oops.
America. Fuck yeah. Listeners can review the show on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. Send us a screenshot, and we will send you a sticker. You can send us emails and voicemails. We play it on air. You can even call in to the Chanarant voicemail line at 702-483-7762. Like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or if you're Australian, Snapchat, which I am trying to do Snapchat now. And all I get is pictures of truck driving down the road from Uncle Chop and Honey Boo Boo.
That's what it was 2 years ago. Why'd you get back?
Hasn't changed, yeah. Check out the Chanarant store, chanarant.com. This episode brought to you by our patrons, those lovely people who sign up at patreon.com/Chanarant. And last but not least, invite, share with your friends, Odd, Open, Fuko.
Hey, Josh.
Yes, dear.
You know what really sticks a co-author in my authorship?
No, what's that?
When you have to do a show on the 4th. Is today the 4th of July?
Today's the 3rd.
Okay. When you have to do the show on the 3rd of July and you're not properly American drunk, because we should be celebrating like America by drinking our asses off, and we just haven't got there yet. That makes this show way harder to do.
It's only treason if you lose.
That's right. And then it's especially difficult when we got to listen to Doogie sober. But here, we're going to try it anyway.
Well, I'm going to try to make myself not sober before we have to listen.
I just read through his book in like 4 days. Hoofa, I might be doogied out.
I'm extra sober today. Extra sober.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're on a no, you don't drink really at all. I mean, not that you're not drinking, but you don't drink regularly, right? Because you're exercising and stuff.
Yeah, certainly recently, because I can't. I've got these new Invisalign orthodontic shit in my mouth, and so like it's horrible. You literally can't do all you can do is drink water unless you take your teeth out, and you're supposed to keep them in 22 hours a day. It's insanity.
Wow. So no snacking for you.
No, but I
can you take them out? Can we see it? Can you show it to us?
I can try. I mean, they're invisible.
Like take them out.
That's just like a
no.
thing. You've seen the commercial.
It's just,
so everybody, if you want to help Doogie out, send him care packages of hard candy only.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what's cool is like you can eat Doritos and hard candy with these. You just have to brush before you put them back in. So, because I had braces when I was younger. I told the orthodontist I'm never doing that again. So.
So, as many of our audience has already been able to discern, we have some guests on the show today. We have Mr. Andrew Douglas, a.k.a. Doogie from the Piper's Dojo, and, of course, the lovely and talented Ozzy Osbrod. Welcome, Ozzy. What time is it there in Australia?
Hey, boys, it's 7 a.m.
Oh, that's not too bad.
But
It is
in
Saturday.
solidarity with your national holiday, I did acquire a flag during lockdown in Australia yesterday, which is no mean feat. And I'm having brunch mimosas, so happy Freedom Day.
That's perfect. Fuck you, British.
I'll drink to that.
So, we're going to talk today about, on the topic of freedom, which we're celebrating this weekend, we're going to talk about Finding Bagpipe Freedom, or as I like to call it, Finding Bagpipe Freedom, the latest book from the Piper's Dojo, Andrew Douglas, and Ozzy Osbrod, a.k.a. Camille.
BagFipe Freedom?
No, it's the BagFipe Freedom, because when they did the cover, the person didn't put the chanter behind the text properly.
Oh, I see.
This is what happens when you use Fiverr, people. But it's a great book.
No, you know what it is? It's what happens when amateur graphic artists see the book cover and wish they thought of that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But, Fusco, you read the book, right?
I have. I've read like 80% of it.
Okay, that's pretty good. I've read 0% because I don't have any money, so I didn't.
That's right. I think Andrew's sending me an extra one, but maybe not. And
But I am familiar with some of the core concepts after participating in the dojo courses. So we'll get into the process, I think, of what spawned this illegitimate love child later on in the episode. But first, we got to get through a bunch of crap. Dirtbag Olympics Part 5 coming soon. Send your stories in. You can do so anonymously at chainrant.com/dirtbag. Check out the Chainrant Discord. Become a patron. We were talked about that. I'm going to get through this quick. Speaking of the Piper's Dojo, you can get a $1 premium test drive, 30 days, chainrant.com/suckless, and you can get your own copy of Finding Bagpipe Freedom at chainrant.com/freedom.
Sweet. So buy your book today, people.
Buy your books today. Get some
Trust
reading
me,
in.
It's actually pretty good. It gets better by the end. It's a little dry in the beginning. My official review is a little dry in the beginning, but it gets better.
It's chock full.
What are you talking about? You
of good
fool?
stuff.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, so let's dive right into the meat. Doogie, what made you decide, hey, you know what? Let's condense all of these courses that I've been working on and the material into a book.
Yeah, and why give away the keys to the kingdom for $30 or whatever this costs?
Before we get into this, I want to address what Josh said earlier and then try to get away with it, which is that he's familiar with a lot of the concepts in the book. Because if that's true, you have a funny way of showing it, my friend.
Hey, I'm doing neither as you say nor as you do.
I mean, I noticed you didn't put any grips in America the Beautiful.
Well, I was struggling pretty hard to remember what the fucking notes are, because that's one of the tunes that we used to have like an America set, and it was always horrible because none of those tunes like really fit well on bagpipes. So I just stopped playing them and don't learn them and don't know them and don't keep them in my repertoire.
Right. Is that what? So that's why
the America set is like a super ironic, problematic issue that we have in American piping for sure.
Yeah.
No question about it.
It's like, I would just rather, like, I've had people like, oh, can you do like the Star Spangled Banner? I'm like, no. Just no.
Just stop.
Yeah, just not no.
If I could, I would let you know. Yeah.
I always want you to do it.
I've had requests for that. I've had requests for like, oh, can you play Green Sleeves? I'm like, no. Like, just no. Stop. Let me tell you what you want to hear.
Exactly.
It's like the same as when you're at a wedding or a party and people are like, oh, play Amazing Grace, because that's the only thing they've ever heard on bagpipes. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. It's a party.
I love when people ask me for Ireland the Brave.
That's a great one.
Yeah. I swear to God, that's happened to me. I'm like, yeah, is it the one that goes like da 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 da? And they're like, yeah, that's it.
Or I get people that are just like, oh, they just make up tune names. Can you play like the Highlanders March? And I'm like, yeah, totally. And I just play like Green Hills. I'm like,
Whatever
there you go, yeah.
I noticed, Josh, for your 100-day challenge, you played Green Hills like 79 times.
Yeah, I did not learn a lot of new tunes, man. Let me tell you what. I think that the biggest pain in the ass part for me about the 100-day challenge is like getting home at 9 o'clock and be like, fuck, I need to like rip something out. I need to tune fast, play fast, rip something out so that I'm not, waking up all my neighbors.
Doogie, when you created the 100-day challenge, is this what you envisioned? Josh getting home at 9, just fuck this shit. I just got to hammer through one tune, and this is what we're doing this for?
Yeah, it's totally fair game. Like a couple of things I did not expect. One of them is that I'm essentially not allowed in that group anymore.
The 100-day challenge group?
Yeah, anytime I comment, the new self-proclaimed kings of the 100-day castle, they like berate me and make me feel like a total dirtbag. So I can't go on. Like I'm cyber bullied in a group I created. It's crazy. And then the other thing I could not have anticipated is how many people desperately need to continue on past 100 days once they've gotten there.
Oh yeah.
Like don't you have something better to do with your time?
They're trying to set the world record.
The 100-day challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, how about after 100 days, then you start to improve your playing?
Yeah. Focus on that.
That
part.
would be.
Yeah.
And I'm being a little bit of a sarcastic dick, but also like that. This is how I feel about it. Like the whole thing is, we want people to establish a habit of playing every day, right?
Right.
After 100 days, let's hope you're at least, mostly in the habit of playing every day. So now then what's the next step? It's not continuing on for another 100 days, right?
Or 700 days.
It's not playing at the same level for 500 days.
Or it could be, right? It could be continuing that on, but now integrating another layer of something. Like maybe the next 100 days, let's go for 100 days in a row of being well tuned, or actually practicing some rhythm, or something like that. But yeah, some people are on day 499 or something.
Right. Yeah, there definitely are.
And it's like, cool. How about on day 500? Let's like try tuning.
I have a good question for you about that, Doogie.
Okay.
Because you're an athlete, sort of, at least lately.
Amateur.
And a big part of weightlifting or doing anything athletic for that matter is rest period, right? So you build muscle when you rest, not when you break it down when you're doing something, and you build it up when you rest. And they talk about muscle building and how rest is a significantly important part of that and whatnot. So when it comes to like the 100-day challenge, or people especially coming up to like competitions and they just really start hammering on the pipes, do you have any thoughts on like my theory, I guess, or whatever my proposed theory is? You need breaks too. Like the 100-day challenge can't, or if you're doing it for 400 days or 700 days, that can actually hurt you potentially because you're never resting.
Yeah.
Mentally,
absolutely.
Physically.
We talk about this a lot in the book. So, as far as how doing the same thing over and over again and doing explicitly that would be very, very problematic, but it tends to be what 95% of pipers do. Like we got our band set, our band competition set, and then we've got our personal competition set, maybe like if we're like serious. And then that's what we decide we're going to play for the whole year, and that's it. And then, yeah, do that 100 days in a row, and I don't know if you'll get worse, but you're certainly not going to get better. Pretty much regardless of who's teaching you as well. I suppose you could get a smidge better at those tunes with really good instruction, but yeah, it all has to be strategic. And then, yeah, you should never play your pipes more as you approach the big event. That would be, anything, it is a lot like weightlifting, where there would be a tapering.
Correct. Yeah.
Period. Exactly. And in Vereri, we do a lot of tuning and stuff before the Worlds, obviously. But you'll notice if you watch a top band prepare for a big event, you're not actually, you are doing a lot of tuning, but the bagpipes actually get played a very conservative amount of time.
Right.
And very little practicing is able to happen that week, partially because you're busy tuning, but also because you really should just be tapering and coasting at that point, and just visualizing. And you shouldn't be, you would obviously never be learning tunes or trying to fix them or anything. If you're serious about having a chance at being successful, I would say.
Right.
I also think that one of the potential pitfalls of something like the 100-day challenge, and this is just from my experience in that, but I'm assuming I'm not the only one, is you create Like, I ended up in some weeks creating a habit where once I played my bagpipes for once a day, like that was all I had to do. So I was like, oh, like right. I did my bagpiping today. I did my one tune and did my submission. And realistically, I think what you want is, you know, going back to the analogy of, let's say, exercise or weightlifting. Like, on your rest days, you should be able to like play chanter and learn a new tune or work on embellishments or something like that. And then like on your lifting days, that could be when you're like, all right, I'm going to record a video and I'm going to do this and blah, 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 blah. So it's just a more diverse mix, I think, would be better. Because I definitely fell in the habit, especially being like busy some weeks, where I was like, oh, like that's all I have to do this week is play bagpipes 7 times.
Right. I mean, that would be the minimally viable commitment that you make with yourself. Yeah. And it's like, you know, I think 100 days is probably, I think it's great. You know, I kind of like came up with it and challenged people to do it. And now it's totally out of my hands. I'm not allowed in there anymore. But
I do love the community it built.
The rules have changed. People are, at least they're playing, I guess. I don't know. It is a community, which can be good or bad.
Yeah.
As we've learned.
Well, one of the things
evolve.
Yeah. Like the most irritating thing, the thing that bugs me the most is when people play like for an hour and they're on there boasting about how long they played on day 37. And like, to me, it's like a weird power trip.
It's a weird flex
that these people do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's like a weird flex that people feel the need to do. But the whole point is you just need to do one, you know, and just, you know, the group is there. The group is there just as like an accountability group. Like, hey, I did my thing today. Cool. Like, I really wish that's all it was. Instead, it's like, I played the entire catalog of John MacLellan of Danoon tunes tonight without stopping. And it's like, bro, like, that's not really in the spirit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I occasionally go on and try to reinforce this.
And then everybody shoots you down.
Yeah. Like, I wonder how many people go on that group and see these people doing that and are just like, oh man, like I don't do that, so I don't really fit in here. So I guess I'm not really going to be able to use this group for just doing the bare minimum, which is, you know, what they probably really need to do.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it from that angle because I think that happens in classes too. Like people will pop into a class and then they'll be like, oh, this is way above me, and then never come back or something. Like that's probably a similar feeling. Yeah.
And I've had that feeling many times in my life, you know, not so much in piping. I've always sort of been very, very lucky. But I mean, that's the reason it took me so long to start CrossFit, for example, is that shit's intimidating.
Oh, big time. Know? Yeah, big time.
And you see people who are probably not that much different than you, but they're able to do things that are beyond what you're able to do. And that doesn't make you feel warm and fuzzy like you want to jump right in. And that's what that group should be about. Anyway, we're off topic.
Well, that's going to happen. So it's something that you just go back to something you were saying there. You mentioned in the book, there's a part where you talk about, again, back to this overplaying thing where you sort of like you're hammering your solo tunes, and this happened to you. I don't remember if you mentioned the year, how long ago it was, but like you come into August and like you just lose the groove. You're like, I'm making mistakes I never made before, or just like I've experienced this for sure, that overplaying mentality where you're doing it too much and things go haywire for no reason. Like you talk about that in the book at some point. So what's what's your general thought or solution to something like that?
Well, it's definitely an interesting thing, and I think stagnation is a really big part of a really big problem that a lot of pipers deal with, right? Mm-hmm. So when we're at that point in the book, we're already beyond the point where we talk about constantly varying your material, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But the first thing there is you want to try not to put yourself in that position in the first place, which is the big mistake most people make, which is they have band sets with no expiration date that end up getting played over and over and over again. Like, have you guys in the Vegas band, or Camille in your band, have you ever had a competition set that remained your competition set for additional seasons where it probably really shouldn't have, just because people couldn't get their shit together and put out new material?
Doogie, I've been playing the same 10 tunes for like 3 fucking years.
Right, exactly. Right? And that would be like doing only bicep curls at the exact same weight every single day when you go to the gym. That's not going to turn you into a good athlete, right? And neither is playing the same material over and over and over again. I think if you look at any successful piper, one of the things you'll notice about them is that they have a vast repertoire. Now, it might not be vast in the sense that it's all perfectly polished, but, all the pipers I looked up to, Jack Lee, Jim McGilvery, Adrian Melvin comes to mind. Like, these guys have endless amounts of repertoire. Rob Matheson comes to mind. And that's not a coincidence, right? Through that wide variety of material, that's where you really can figure out the fundamentals. And it's also where you can sort of find the essence, for lack of a less subjective term, of what these tunes are about, which will help prohibit the stagnation in the first place, right?
Mm-hmm. 100%. I've fallen into that trap, certainly.
I do want to take issue with what you said, Andrew. It has nothing to do with leadership not having their shit together. There is a different reason why we play the same shit over and over again. But
okay, what's the reason?
Because it takes them 3 years to memorize anything anyway. So if I change everything at once, we're never gonna play ever anywhere.
So and that's exactly the bottom line. Right. And by the way, it's like exactly what the book is. What the book is going after and like prepared to tackle, right? Which is
correct.
You can't learn new sets because the people in your band can't learn tunes fast enough. Okay. And the reason they can't learn tunes fast enough is because their fundamentals aren't strong enough.
Correct.
So what are the fundamentals that you should be focusing on? In what order? And what are your priorities in order to make it so that when you have new tunes in the band, people can learn them to a decent standard in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Right. I like
too. It's not just.
Go ahead,
sorry, Andy. It's not just like it's not just like stagnation of the fundamentals. It's also stagnation of enjoyment of the tunes. So I recently completed another run through the 100-day challenge, and I tried to take on board the stuff that we talked about in the book, and constantly vary my material by trying to play a different tune every day, and it made it fun again. Like, I actually remember that I didn't need to get stuck on that E doubling and Donald McLean. Like, I could just play something and like, oh, I remember playing this in a pub and it was fun and it doesn't sound great and my embellishments aren't great, but I'm fucking enjoying myself. I forgot that piping was supposed to be a hobby that I actually love and not something I'm supposed to like beat my head against a brick wall trying to get absolutely perfect every time, which is someone with perfectionist tendencies can be a very easy rabbit hole to fall down. So.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Andy, let's address your question. So
sure.
What we're talking about when you're reading that in the book is how you can use the Bagpipe Freedom process that we do at the dojo, but we also outline it in detail in the book. You can use that to get yourself out of a rut, right? So, so when you're feeling stagnated, you can go back. You can and should, right? You should go all the way back to phase one. Okay, strip down the tune to its rhythm only. And dig into that rhythm. Have you let anything lapse? Is the rhythm still really well in control, able to play it with the metronome? Do you fully understand it? Are there aspects of the rhythm that you could enhance to do a better job? Like expression comes to mind there, right? Like maybe we could take the dots and cuts and, again, to simplify things, express those dots and cuts a little bit better. But do that at the rhythm layer with whatever tune that you feel is stagnant.
Right.
Okay, and then from there, play the tune on the practice chanter, but with no embellishments, focusing on just simple grace note quality, simple scale navigation, which basically equates to avoiding crossing noises, and just, again, look at that layer in detail. From there, you would move on to basic bagpipe operation with no chanter at all, basically, is my blowing steady.
What do you do when you take your band into phase 2 and take all the embellishments out, and then they vote you out as pipe major at that point?
Yeah,
because I think if that, I mean, I'm being funny, but like I've dealt with revolt. I've simplified tunes in the dojo way before, and then like people were pissed.
Yeah,
like okay,
why do you think that is? Yeah. Like, why do you think that is?
I think it's because ego. I think they felt like they're better than that, and they don't have to do that kind of thing.
If you look at anything in the entire frickin' world. Okay, this is how you learn. For example, do you learn how to fly an airplane in a Boeing 7,000,007 Dreamliner?
Definitely not.
No, but that's what bagpipers insist on, right?
Yes.
Like I have to play with a full Ross canister system with the digital tuner, all the embellishments in, because otherwise, screw that, I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not a real boy.
Like in golf, like when you learn to play golf, how do they teach you? They don't teach you with a full bag of clubs. They teach you with a 5-iron. And until you get good at the 5-iron, you don't move on to the other clubs, because until you could do that well, you're just wasting time, right? Mm-hmm. You're not, I mean, sure. Can you enjoy golf with the full bag of clubs? For a short period of time, yes, you can. But when you want to figure out how to get better, you're going to go to an instructor. And what's that instructor going to tell you? In order to get better, we got to learn how to do the simple things really well.
Right.
Is that, you know what I mean? Like, you could name anything else. Baking, riding a bike, I guess.
Cunnilingus.
All things Andy does all the time.
Did I break up? Is this my internet or someone else's?
It's probably yours. Yeah, cunnilingus is definitely a big part of my
practice
everyday.
Makes perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. No, I was reading through the pipe band part of the book, and a lot of these things are floating through my head as I'm reading through this. Like, all right, what are we gonna do here? Like, how am I gonna reset the band? Because you talk about how you reset Or and More at some point and that sort of thing, and I'm thinking about, like, oh boy, how do I make this happen? And the pipe band section of the book is pretty cool. It's just basically make people essentially work their way through the phases, and that's how they get into the parade band and whatever, all that kind of stuff, right?
Makes sense.
So, and then I also love the idea of the manometer octopus or whatever, but I need to know specifically. There's no drawings in the book about how the fuck I set that sucker up at band practice, so so that everybody's hooked up. Like, how do you do that? I saw the picture, but you can't really tell. It's like a black and white picture, and it's really hard to tell. Like, how do you do that's a huge thing. The manometer octopus. Do we lose Andrew? Oh, we lost him. All right, Camille, I guess the question goes to you. How do we do the manometer octopus?
Jesus.
Can you get him back?
I have trouble setting up my own bloody manometer.
Josh.
Yes.
Can you get him back?
Yeah, give me a sec.
Sorry, so what was that, Camille?
I had enough trouble setting up my own bloody manometer. You got no chance, mate.
I know. I just want to know the mechanics of that part. I don't. Maybe he goes into it at some point, but I don't think he does. About like how they did.
Didn't you guys do one at one stage with the Vegas band?
We did it at like a clinic, and it was like, God, how many people were there? There was like 20 people, and it was. But we were at a fire department, and we had ladders and shit built. Like, I can't bring that into the.
It was wild.
Like, how we made that happen. I couldn't do that at the church without my own equipment. Like, I'm not bringing 2 ladders and a fucking 2x4.
I don't even like having to bring the fucking bass drum.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if we had our own place and we could do something permanent, that would be one thing. But Doogie, can you hear me again?
Don't you have a bunch of firefighters playing for the band? Just get them to bring the stuff along.
We've got one firefighter local that plays in the band that shows up once a month.
Yeah. That's it.
There you go. That's your practice.
Hopefully soon to be 2 firefighters locally in the band.
Yeah, someday.
Someday in the future.
Doogie, can you hear us?
Yeah, I had like an internet storm, I think. I'm at my parents' house, so
that's okay.
I don't know how reliable
Stop torrenting porn, Doogie.
Is that still a thing?
At
Can
it
you still
again,
torrent?
guys.
So anyway,
Yeah,
the question was, how do I set up, very specifically, give me specific details here. How do I set up the manometer octopus and make this work in a band practice? I know you've done it. I just want to know exactly how you do it, because I don't have the tools or the know-how.
So that's a good question. And I know the Ulster band, we found a picture. They posted a great picture of their octopus, and we used it in the book. It's
just hard to see the details. Like, I see the picture, but it's hard to see the details in there.
Yeah. So in the old days, it was a very American approach in Or and More, which is basically you figure it out and you show up to band practice with a manometer that works.
Did you still stand in a circle though? Like, how did you arrange your band so that it worked? Like, they brought like a hook and.
Yeah, so people brought a music stand, and then hooked their manometer onto that, and just stood there in the circle with it.
Gotcha.
But it's don't be tempted to picture some sort of beautiful scenario here. It was a total cluster. It was a total cluster. Everybody did all sorts of crazy stuff. I remember one guy in the band, he just read online that you should have a cork to restrict the airflow. so the water wouldn't move so much. So I remember him, and I remember he came in one day, and his tone was like way better than mine, Eric Olette's, Keegan's, and we're like, wait a second, bro.
What did you do?
What's going on? And he was like, no, I built it the way you're supposed to build it. And then we found the piece of cork in there, and we're like, wait, what is this? and then we took it out, and then he was a really nice guy, but he was really upset when he figured out the actual quality of his tonal production. Yeah.
So I could build this.
Can you build it that we can use it in the church though?
Like in my mind, what this ends up being is kind of like, have you ever seen like a pasta drying rack where it's like a post with sticks coming off all the sides at different angles?
Okay, yeah.
I could make that.
Just a wood stick.
Like a maple.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
Something like that would work.
Yeah, I just need to know how many branches it needs.
I'd say best case scenario 10.
Okay.
On a good day, which is never going to happen.
That's optimistic, Andy.
I'm being very optimistic here, but I'm just planning for the 20 years from now.
I could go full buggy and just make it all out of PVC so that you could disassemble it and
that's
pack
an
it in a
idea.
bag.
Buggy would have done that. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, all right, I'm in.
Yeah, I could build
They
this.
have those really cheap coat hanger sets at Walmart and Target and stuff, and you could start with that for sure, and just have everyone bring their manometer in with a coat hanger, and then you just kind of hang your coat up, so to speak. And you could keep the coat hanger things at band practice.
Yeah,
you
my
could
thought
do
is
something
almost
like
like a C-stand base, and then it just like comes off in branches and like a star, and then your manometer is like hanging right in front of your freaking face at that point. Yeah. I can build that.
Yeah.
I'm using Chanarant money, but I'll build it.
I like the idea.
I do think the question that you were asking before my internet went bad is like an important thing to think about. Like, you don't need the manometer setup in your band before you've convinced them that they need to earn the right to play embellishments, right? Like that's more important.
Yes, I agree. So how would you convince my band? Because they're probably listening. Some of them are listening.
Really? Your guys still listen to you guys?
A couple, maybe
Couple
two.
of them do, yeah.
Maybe 2, 3.
On the rare occasion
right.
that I get an edit out.
Doogie, I want you to address Angel right now. Say, Angel, this is what... Angel,
you are a great player. You don't need need to fix anything.
He's got natural
rhythm.
Just keep
doing what you're doing. Look, what is an embellishment made of? Embellishment is made of
grace notes,
scale navigation, grace notes, and of course rhythm, right? Like there's a certain part of that embellishment that needs to go on the mythical beat, right?
The ever elusive beat, just like the ever elusive female orgasm.
Exactly.
At least in my life.
Is that still eluding you?
It is.
It's not that elusive if you're doing it right, Andy.
Well, I'm not that concerned about that part.
Oh man, even at 7 a.m, come on.
Attaining vaginal freedom. That's my new book.
Finding clitoral freedom.
Yeah, and you know.
Can you give that book to every? Can you give that book to every bloke you know, please?
Absolutely, no problem. Sorry, go ahead, Doogie. You're going to say something serious here.
No, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
You were talking about convincing our band members about embellishments and what they're made up of and all that.
And earning the right. I like that terminology there. Earning the right to use an embellishment.
Yeah. So an embellishment is made up of these 3 ingredients, right? So I'm not really asking you to simplify tunes for very long. As a matter of fact, somebody like Angel is probably only going to have to play without embellishments for about 10 minutes. And once we recognize that he's perfectly playing to the click of a metronome, that all of his note changes are perfectly clean, which I know they are, and that all of his grace notes are really crisp with great fundamental quality.
We're talking about the same Angel, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I think he's being sarcastic.
No. I know Angel is great at all 3 of these things. I just know it. So Angel, just agree to play with no embellishments until we've confirmed these things, and then we'll move forward.
Perfect. I love this idea.
It's
How long do you think Josh would be in the first 3 phases?
I'm still in the first phase.
Well, that's true because you haven't. But I'm just extrapolating. What do you think?
Beer Boy kicked my ass. He knocked them all out.
I think Josh has experience playing other types of music, so I think he would get through the rhythm phase faster than average.
Yep, I think that's true.
And I think he would get through phase 2 faster than average. I think he has nice strength and experience on the bagpipes. Maybe some posture things we got to get sorted out. But yeah, as you know, blowpipe boy. But I think you get into phase 4 pretty quick, and then we'd be there for a little while until we ironed out some of the details.
My favorite still was the I did like a shit-faced dojo because I forgot to do my 100-day challenge, so I did one like right after the pod. And remember, I just blew directly into the stock.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was like, "Is this short enough for you, Doogie?"
That's right. You took the glow stick out.
Yeah.
That was physically demanding.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think I came back. I think my response to that was like, surprisingly, that was much better than anything.
Yeah, he's like surprisingly better posture than usual.
Even though you had no blowpipe at all, yeah. So anyway, that's all the boring stuff about the book. Now, what do you really want to ask?
Oh man! So this is why we brought Ozzy on, because
I assumed as much.
I would like to preface this with the fact that both Fusco and I have worked with Doogie over the years on a number of endeavors. Usually, I would say, and correct me if I'm mistaken, more like creative endeavors is usually where I come in. You do, yeah. And then you've been working with him on teaching stuff for a while now. How long have you been at the dojo?
Almost 4 years now.
Yeah. So we have a lot of experience working with the idiot savant that is Andrew Douglas.
And he berates me on a weekly basis. It's fantastic.
Ozzy, is this...
That's not true.
I'm just kidding.
Ozzy, is this your first experience working closely with Doogie on this book?
Not quite. So we worked together on a project last year for the Pipe Majors Symposium.
Oh, that's right. You put that book together, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that was the first time kind of working on a project together. So
and you came back for more. I'm surprised.
Well, I'm interested to hear the 3 different opinions on working with Doogie because, like, Ozzy, like, did you find it pretty easy to work with?
Yeah, actually.
No. You just even if it's good, just make some shit up. Talk shit about it.
That's all you have to elaborate. Yeah, it was just no, it was a breeze.
Definitely. Sorry. I actually first started like working with Andrew because I messaged him out of the blue and told him his social media was rubbish. I think that was like a year ago. Or a bit over. So and I initially got this very short reply. I'm just like, yeah, I know.
Like, wait, his personal or like the dojo stuff?
He doesn't have personal social
media. No, the dojo, yeah, okay. For sure. He's never on personal social media, so how can that be rubbish?
You have to know
if you don't play the game.
You have to know his secret personal social. Yeah, only a few people have that.
It's his wife. I get a message at midnight from his wife. I'm like, oh, this is awkward. I'm gonna have to what? Oh, and then I realize it's Doogie messaging me in the middle of
you realize right before you send that dick pic.
Right,
wait, it's a different person.
Exactly.
So Fusco, you've worked with Doogie teaching. How would you describe the experience?
It's a little up and down. Meaning it's manic. Maybe is a way to put it.
I could say, okay. I could concur.
Doogie's incredibly sarcastic, very, very funny, and then also very angry out of nowhere sometimes, which is, you just never know. Like, one of the funny things we talk about in our meetings when after Doogie leaves, because he's always in a hurry, because he's a very important man, is like, oh, we got the good Doogie today. All right, he's in a good mood today. We're okay. And sometimes he just like hates. He just yells at us, like, well, not really yells, but you know, he's very short. And but it's a little up and down, but it's always good. Doogie's a good guy in general.
So talk. I want to hear stuff that I've yelled about from your perspective.
Let's see.
First
we don't have to get into
first the dick pic that you sent to his wife.
Yeah, he didn't like that. I'm
we
usually more
into this week's incident.
Yeah, well, that wasn't towards me. That was just me witnessing. Yeah, we won't talk about that.
So we fucked up this week?
But it wasn't us. No. But it was. But usually it's just me witnessing you fighting with Carl. That's usually what I witness.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's like Carl tries to like be a reasonable human being, and then you're you.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. A reasonable human being is sometimes a really nice like an overly generous way of describing the shit Carl says sometimes.
Right. No, he's equally fucking off the wall sometimes, but it's funny because he's the marketing guy, right? Or in his personality, he's like the guy that's always smoothing things over. Let's say it that way. Not that he's the marketing guy per se, but like,
yeah.
Like
he's definitely the fixer.
Yeah, he's the fixer. So if somebody's pissed about something, it's like, all right, Carl, Carl's going to message him and smooth this over.
I used to have to do that with you all the time.
Like, yeah, but you're more of an asshole than me in band. Is that what you're referring to?
No, but no. Like I used to smooth over shit when people would be pissed off at you.
Oh yeah,
constantly.
For sure. I'm not wholly unlike Doogie at all. I'm very like
the truth of the relationship I have with Carl is like so good, and I think from the outside sometimes. And I'm sure sometimes it actually is true, but sometimes it looks like I'm just dumping shit I don't want to do on Carl, but it's usually very strategic. Like if a customer is upset, I almost always ask Carl to handle it, because the way I would handle it, it requires great painful effort for me to do it the right way. And what ends up happening is I end up using sarcasm as like the way to get to the point quickly, and it doesn't
backfires.
Well, it's like the Doogie is the master of like saying something shitty and be like, hey, I'm just joking, but I'm really not joking. Like,
right.
No, this really does suck. Like, make it better.
He doesn't hide it well at all.
My experience working with Doogie has historically been actually pretty great. As far as like compared to other clients I've had in the past when it comes to like print jobs, video jobs, stuff like that. Because he'll just be like, oh, I want this. And I'll be like, okay, cool. And then I'll just make it. And I'm like, you mean like this? And he's like, maybe one or two tweaks. Like I remember we would do the vlog back in the day. And I think like the first 2 vlogs we had notes on. And then after that, he was like, no, you kind of picked up the style I want. Like, you're good. And I was like, cool. It was a breeze. It was a breeze to work with. I was like, oh, yeah. The biggest pain in the ass was like remembering all the different places in AWS I had to upload shit.
That's true.
Yeah, that part sucks. That's the part I hate the most, too. It's like, is just the like the framework of how this is going to work. And the hardest part is not Josh video editing the vlog. The hardest part is all the other stuff that that unless I outsource that, it takes all that time for me to do that, So yeah,
I remember there was a time period where I had a cheat sheet like stapled up by my monitor, where it's like, okay, like, and the only thing that wasn't on there was finish the edit. So I start from the edit being done, and it's like, all right, so now you need to go to this URL to post it this way, to do this, and do the titling here, and update this spreadsheet. And that actually didn't take me very long once I got into the swing of it.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, I've worked with way worse clients.
I gotta say,
I'll take it.
I've had exactly the same experience, and it wasn't what I expected working with Andrew. I don't know what I expected, but
what did you expect?
I'm not sure. I didn't know what to expect. He could be an unpredictable character.
Yes, that is very true.
As an editor, I'm used to like the compliment sandwich and working with very precious authors, and like I work with academics every day, so like trying to like overcome ego can be a challenging part of the job. And actually, one previous project that I'd worked on was with my dad, which if I can recommend to anyone, never, ever, ever, ever work with your family. Dad like handed me this manuscript for his memoir, which is even worse because it's like even more his baby than something else he might have written. And he basically said like, oh, I want you to like, do a proofread on this for me and like edit it for me. And what he really wanted was for me to read it and go, Dad, it's perfect. And like, you've done a bestseller here. And like, I don't have to change anything. Obviously that wasn't the case. I changed like every fucking word. And he was not a fan. So I had to sit there for like excruciating hours, like literally justifying word by word why I would change this. And he's like, well, in my understanding from fucking grade 10 English, this isn't what you do. I'm like, mate, I have a master's degree in fucking
it's a little
years experience.
Different.
Like, I think I know what I'm doing with this one. But with Andrew it was great because you can tell him exactly what you think. And he's like, oh, fair enough. Sure, you do it. I was like, this is fucking amazing. I don't even have to couch it with compliments. Like, this is shit. We should change it. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. Like, you do something different. And it's like, yeah, that's good.
I was about to say, for some of our listeners, Ozzy, would you describe the compliment sandwich? Because I'm familiar with it, but I don't know that everybody is.
So the compliment sandwich is when you have something that is going to completely destroy someone's ego. And then you sandwich it between a couple of compliments about like, oh my God, so like what you were trying to do here was so great, but this was completely shit and we need to rewrite the whole thing. But I really appreciate like your writing style and like what you said. It's kind of, you pump up their ego to start with, and then you deliver the hard news, and then you're like, but actually I still really like you, and I think your work's great, and I think we can do something with it.
As a matter of fact, that's the first thing we told Fusco when he came to the first dojo team meeting. So if I hear one fucking compliment sandwich, you're fired. Get that shit away from me.
I remember it differently. I remember you telling me to compliment sandwich people, because we used to, before the freedom
students. Yeah. You got to compliment.
You got to do it with the students.
Yeah.
Well, your webcam resolution is great, and I really love what you've done with the room. Now play everything differently.
So previous to the Bagpipe Freedom process, we used to do a different thing where people would still submit tune of the week, and very often, for a little while, for a good year, I did a lot of the reviews, and we graded them on this thing, which was all the dojo fundamentals, and then we would comment specifics. But Andrew was always like, in the paragraph that you just give a general opinion, compliment sandwich them like all the time. And now that we do the Bagpipe Freedom process, where we still grade people every week, we still do the same thing. Like, so they're constantly coaching us on be very positive, give them something that they did well, then give them the thing they should focus on next, and then give them another compliment. It's always like that, which is fine. It is sometimes it is incredibly difficult to find something positive to say. It's like, wow, you hit record, good job.
Yeah.
You hit the record button correctly, excellent job. Like, holy shit.
This is why the older I get, the less I thrive in like a teaching space, because I'm just like, oh fucking Christ. Like,
I envy Cam and Greg sometimes, because granted, their job is harder because they're doing like the phase 5s and 4s for the most part, and but at least they have more options for positivity. It's like, hey, you did pretty well at, I don't know, playing the right notes.
Yeah, like
at least that's in there.
The second part was good. Like, how do you soften the blow for someone who's just been clapping into a fucking microphone?
Well, there's 4 categories when you're doing phase 1. There's 4 things to comment on that, and 2 of them are basically a given. So you got basically 2, and it's like, well, I can hear you're clapping, so that's good.
Then again, I can't even fucking levy criticism, because it took me 8 months into Zoom lessons during the pandemic to get people to bring a fucking metronome.
Oh, well, that doesn't happen at Dojo. Our people are well trained, right, Doogie?
Like, I literally had to I sent the band a checklist. I was like, this is every single thing I expect you to have with you when you show up to Zoom practice. Mm-hmm. I expect you to be on time. I expect you to have a metronome. I expect you to have a copy of your music available. I expect you to have your fucking practice chanter. I expect you to be clothed. I expect you to be in a chair. I expect the air conditioning to be on. Because otherwise, like, fuck, dude. Like, come on, man. Just bring the basics.
Doogie, can you comment on the quality of the... what would we call it? The consistency and training of our dojo students, and how well they're prepared, generally speaking, for these things.
Just as far as having the appropriate equipment?
Correct.
Yeah, it's getting better. Like, we're getting better at communicating what they need. The biggest thing is the biggest challenges are the manometer and then the amplified metronome. That's one of the biggest hurdles.
The amplified metronome.
And then, of course, the recorder itself. Non-technological people have problems like making a recording and then figuring out how to get it to someplace on the cloud where they can then share it. So those are like the biggest issues logistically that we've had to try to figure out over time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think the key to that, and I'm always bad at this myself, is like just insisting that you do it. Like, yeah. And I think that's what...
And not accepting any substitute.
Correct. Like, and Doogie's pretty good at that, where it's like, you know what? Bite the bullet and get a goddamn friggin' little guitar amp or whatever. The one that you guys have that's recommended, the little amp thingy. And a lot of people, they'll hem and haw and bitch about it, and then they get it, and it's like, and then it's over. And they just use it. It's great. You mentioned Barb in the book, and she was one of those back in the day who would fight over everything. Like, I just want to change. I don't want to change, right? And then as she kind of did the thing, and then she got a little better, and then she did the next thing, and she got a little better, and or whatever, she finally got the amp, and she figured out how to use Bluetooth, and Camille walked her through how to use technology, and like, and then it worked.
Over and over again.
Yeah, over and over again. And then it worked. Right. I mean, and you want to talk about her at all? Like you mentioned her as a specific thing in the book, a student in the book who had success with the rhythm part of this.
Bill, you want to talk about her?
Sure, if you want to. It's a good
My internet's just being really flaky. I want to wait till it clears up.
Okay, that's fine. So while your internet's cleaning up, let me read from the book. Because
is this your audition to do the official VO?
I think he's already done it. I think he's already recorded it. But
man, that'll be great though. I've been having trouble sleeping lately.
So this is a great question for Camille because she can actually hear me. So I'm curious while I'm reading this, and bear with me. It's 2 paragraphs that I'm going to read, so it's a little bit longer.
I have a fresh whiskey. You're good.
Stay with me. So here we go. You'll get it as I come in. So it says this. Now, I'm not talking about well-intentioned folks who are genuinely trying to help others by steering them towards trusted resources and advice. But you can sniff out the armchair mob instantly. They're the ones clinging stubbornly to the front incline of the Dunning-Kruger curve. And rather than trying to help, have instead wrapped their clumsy fingers around a virtual megaphone to projectile vomit ignorance, half-learned concepts, and opinions stated as fact over comment threads and forums, purely for a self-indulgent dopamine rush. What infuriates me is that this deafening din of know-it-all online noise can be overwhelmingly for newer players who have no idea which opinions to trust and often get led astray, and then end up having to spend longer down the track on doing all those bad habits and ideas they learned initially before they can make any progress towards actual mastery of the bagpipe. Or worse still, they give up in frustration before they get the help they need, further diminishing our numbers as a community. So, my question in regards to this statement is, 1, who actually wrote that? And 2, why did you save this for the end of the book instead of coming out hard like this? So, and I probably know the answer, but I want to.
It doesn't look the same on that, but I was pointing at Ozzy. If I do it like this, it looks more like I'm pointing at Ozzy on our screen.
Right. So I could suspect that like something like this in the front of the book, you would worry that this would turn people off. But the thing that I think is like this is right near the end. That's something that you start to go off the fucking rails here, where you just be a little more honest about like your opinions, and we know your opinions well, but we agree with most of your opinions. Well, that's true, yeah, and this is like so true. But the traditional establishment, if you will,
the old cucks
are not on with that sort of thing because it doesn't help them make their income regularly as judges and teachers or whatever. But anyway, I would like you guys, both of you, to comment. 1, Camille, what were your thoughts when you wrote that? And 2, and how much influence did Doogie have on this? And then why save it for the end? What was your thought process for arranging the way you come into it pretty gentle and then hammer at the end? Like it gets pretty intense by the end.
So 2 things. So yes, I definitely did write that bit. And I think because this is towards the end, this was by the stage where Doogie had kind of stopped editing me so much. So the way that we kind of started working was that Andrew had kind of written the bulk of like the Freedom Phases chapters came from actually other content that we kind of cobbled together and like worked into a bit more of like a flow for those chapters.
Sure.
And Andrew had actually written the bulk of the first couple of chapters himself, and I kind of just sort of edited them. And by the time we got to sort of the later chapters, we changed the way we were working a little bit, and then Andrew would sort of give me some ideas that he wanted to write in, and I would basically write the chapter. So, and most of it, so for example, the pipe band chapter, he kind of given me some memories and stuff that I sort of wrote up, and he told me where the details were right or wrong. So it's a bit more of like a collaborative development process. So kind of I would write the content, and then he would come back in and say, oh, we need to add in something about this, or blah, blah, blah. So it was very much a sort of back and forth process for them. But that chapter that you're talking about, Andy, that Free Your Mind one, Andrew had given me a few dot points that I just sort of went to town. So he was like, I kind of just want to talk about this in this chapter. And I was just like, this is my catharsis chapter. I'm just going to dump out every single fucking
it's the Aussie manifesto.
Exactly. Every frustration I have as a fucking learner piper, as a teacher, as a like band I've been a pipe major, as someone who's running a band, as someone who's seeing all this shit on the internet, just seeing all these know-it-all fuckwits trying to tell people like their opinions when it's completely wrong, and they're just so convinced they're right, and they just can't get past that idea that they're wrong. And anyway, I wrote it, and Andrew seemed to agree with it, so we just kept it in. But the second thing is,
if anything, that chapter, it was like, that was the nicest we could get that to sound.
It was much.
I want to hear
it was much more brutal in the first cut.
Yeah, I want to see the original cut of that chapter.
Well, that's the next thing. Camille, do we still have the original introduction to the book? Because I think we should read that. Because
I don't know if I can pull it up now, but yeah, hang on. We'll see if
that's okay. While you guys look it up, I have another caption from the book that I feel like would be appropriate if I could just borrow this.
Sure.
My point would be there's 2 pages at the beginning of the book that are lost that we cut from the book. It's like the director's cut. Someday we'll release the director's cut of the book.
So while you guys pull those up for reading, this is a passage that I thought was kind of interesting. I felt the softness of his lips against my temple, the butterfly touch of his tongue on my skin. And Salt, he said, very softly. His breath was warm. Oh, never mind. This wrong book.
Wrong book.
We just felt like we wanted to give people a little something extra. That's all.
Yeah, no, but what about the arrangement of the reality check versus the coming in sort of, because I think I've heard rumor that maybe you guys came in hard in the beginning, but then changed it and flipped it around and did different, like what's that process like where you decide how you want the tone to go and flow and that sort of thing? I've never written a book.
So,
I have no fucking clue how any of this works. I'm super curious.
So it's a great question. I mean, the book started off by, identifying who the audience was going to be and who it wasn't going to be. And then from there, the outlining process is basically probably as you would imagine it. But we wanted to talk about overall how you learn anything. We wanted to spend some time talking about that because I think that's the number one thing that guides the dojo process is, we're going to take lessons that we've picked up from learning other things in our life really successfully, and we're going to apply them to playing the bagpipes. Then we go through the dojo methodology in part 2. And then part 3 was like, I was trying to explain to Camille, and she got it right away. It's like, I want to go through all the objections and all the challenges people are going to have with this and all the questions. It's basically, the third part is a brief FAQ section for the methodology and like, how's this actually going to work? And how does this actually relate to all the bullshit I've read on the subreddit of,
Yeah, and what can this book teach me that 15 years playing in my local police band couldn't?
Right.
Oh boy. Yes, exactly right, Josh.
You expect me to learn a different version of Rowan Tree? How dare you?
No, I already learned that.
Are you kidding?
But we kind of when we started off, so there was always this bit of to and fro between, do we want to go the Game of Thrones method where it's like, here's just the whole thing and what it's going to be up front, and if you're not up for this, you're not going to like the rest of the book, so just give them everything
refunds
all at once, or do we want to try and breadcrumb them in and entice them in, you can trust us, and then by the time they get to the last chapters, it's like
shame. Boom. Shame.
By the way, you're a fuck. It gets way more. And the other thing is, by the final chapters, Andrew wasn't trying to make me use smaller words, which we were doing at the start. So I think at one point I'd used the word, I think it was Ouroboros, and his comment was just like, what the fuck is this?
It's a recurring theme on the Chanran podcast.
Yeah. It's just we can't use the words this big with the readers. You've got to use something that's way more accessible. But by the final
definitions. You need definitions in the margin. Then it's a teaching book 2 ways.
Well, we actually kind of did that for a few things. There's footnotes for that reason.
Oh my god, there's footnotes all over this goddamn thing.
But if you want do you want to hear what the original cut of the intro was?
Oh yeah, do it.
More than anything, do it.
Do you want to send it to them and have? I think we should send it to them, Camille, and have them read it.
I don't know. I feel like it would come across better in Ozzy's voice.
Whatever
you guys prefer. We're game for.
All right. It might be easier if I just read it out, because otherwise I'm gonna have to figure out how to paste deleted text. So
yeah, no worries. You got this.
All right, here we go. Here's a dramatic reenactment of Andrew's initial manifesto.
Before you begin, this was in the book, and it got cut at the last second, basically. Like, this was one of the last things we cut. Like, this almost made it in.
So where was this in the book?
This is the beginning.
The very beginning.
Oh.
So wait, let me set the scene here real quick. Open. Dark, misty room, a la dream sequences from Boondock Saints. Andrew Douglas stands alone, but somehow his voice is Ozzy Osbourne.
So this is the Australian version of the audiobook. So this is literally the start of the introduction. So if you've read the book, you'll know that it starts with a Bruce Lee quote, which is adapt what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. Then heart open. Bagpiping is supposed to be fun. Think about pipers, bands, or performances you love listening to. It's common for people to say that hearing a fantastic bagpipe performance stirred their soul. Wouldn't it be nice if you could do and feel the same thing every time you played? Many pipers, I'm sad to say, never even dream of having that kind of freedom when they play, feeling that kind of awe, joy, and positivity from the music that they create. I'm one of the lucky ones. Over the years, bagpiping has added incredibly, frankly, unbelievably positive value to my life as a boy growing up in Syracuse, New York. I grew up in a small town south of Syracuse, New York, but by the time I was 9 years old, I was traveling all over the northeastern USA playing the bagpipes, something I absolutely love to do. I was learning from the very best pipers the area had to offer, my dad, Bruce Douglas, plus Donald Lindsay and Jim Clow, amongst others. I hope I pronounced his name right. By 13, I was living... Okay, Jim Clough, there you go. By 13, I was living...
Unsung hero of New York piping history.
There you go. That's the footnote. By 13, I was living near Toronto, taking daily lessons from Jim McGillivray and receiving an amazing secondary school education at St Andrews College. Then by 16, I was also travelling to beautiful British Columbia to play with the world champion Simon Fraser University Pipe Band. I was mentored and toured by world-renowned players like Jack and Terry Lee, competed against Alan Bevan, Andrew Bonar, and Jory Chisholm. I even butted heads over ensemble with the great leading drummer Reed Maxwell. I met my wife through piping. I now provide for my family thanks to the Pipers Dojo, my business, which I built from the ground up, where every day over the internet, a team of great instructors that I've assembled teaches pipers around the world to play and improve their piping. In these and many, many other ways, bagpiping has been the incredibly enriching foundation of every aspect of my life. But for every happy piper like me, I could estimate there are at least 1,000 unhappy ones. I know they're out there because on my Facebook page, a vocal few seem to get a real kick out of regularly accusing me of being a fraudster hiding behind a slick marketing to scam people. But the real scam is what's going on in the mainstream bagpiping world. Despite how misinformed or annoying these comments may be, ultimately I can't help but feel sorry for the trolls writing them, because I know they're actually unwitting victims of a bizarre tribal war of flawed, dogmatic ideas that have nothing to do with using the bagpipe for what it is, an ancient instrument that creates beautiful music and can make you feel such joy in the process. While my origin story involved being encouraged and taught by great pipers in a constructive environment, I'm aware that most pipers haven't had that experience. Theirs usually follows some variation of a different story, and then we transition into where the introduction actually starts, which is, once upon a time, bagpipes are hard to learn on your own, so beginners sought out an experienced player or band to teach them.
That got cut?
That's not it. No, Camille, that got cut too, the Once Upon a Time.
Did it?
You got to keep going.
Oh, there you go. All right, hang on.
I can't believe that got cut. I fucking love that.
This is not that it's not that offensive to me.
I think that's ballsy as shit. I love it.
So the Once Upon a Time is where the book actually started. This is where, I wasn't even remembering that first part, Camille. Okay. But that was great.
Keep going.
Actually, this is the good bit. All right. Once upon a time, bagpipes were hard to learn on your own, so beginners sought out an experienced player or band to teach them. These instructors taught the way they were taught without ever reflecting on what was best for the learner, focusing on expression and embellishments from the outset, rather than patiently laying the foundation with essential fundamentals first. Very few students showed any aptitude for this approach, but the ones that did were held up as proof that the system worked. The ones that didn't were compared to the few that could, and either ignored or given less focus, fed lines like you don't have natural talent or you just have old fingers, while the instrument remained a mystery and they remained frustrated and beholden to their teacher or pipe major for help with basic things like tuning maintenance and remembering tunes. This is a tale as old as time, well, for the last few hundred years anyway, but it is still happening every day in too many band halls and lessons all over the world. Astoundingly, there are many of the shunned majority that don't quit piping outright. Horrifyingly, they don't even pack up and go somewhere else. In fact, in many cases, there's nowhere else for them to go, even if they wanted to, because they may not have access to good teachers or know what a good teacher is in the first place. No, even more disturbingly, they form an attachment to this way of thinking, even though it's let them down personally, and they internalize it as the absolute truth before passing it on to others. As a footnote, no true artist in any medium claims to know the absolute truth and lives to tell about it. I have come to think of this as bagpiping Stockholm syndrome. The miserable stuck pipers who, instead of seeking out a more positive environment to learn, double down and form an unquestioning posse to advocate that their style of piping is superior to other approaches, despite the fact that it hasn't ever helped them claw their way out of rudimentary poor playing. In turn, they then write off anything else as corrupt, overrated, or dishonourable to tradition. This pervasive, toxic tribalism, groups of unhappy, stifled bagpipers constantly at odds with each other instead of just letting music making guide the conversation, is actually one of the main reasons I started Dojo University. I believe it is the definitive reason our community has grown and thrived. Because knowledge is power, and anyone truly interested in improving should always be open to new ideas, new approaches, and questioning their beliefs as a way to better understand something. I wanted to create a way to break down that limiting tribalism and the gatekeeping that has for too long kept many passionate pipers in the dark by making this knowledge accessible to anyone, anywhere, at any time. Think about it. When you started, did you want to become the best piper in the world? Did you even want to win big prizes or make money? Probably not. Chances are you saw a quirky yet awe-inspiring instrument like the sound and thought it could be a fun, meaningful hobby that would enrich your life. So what happened? If you're anything like the thousands of students I've helped to resurrect at Dojo University, you hit a wall far too early in your development and haven't progressed much since.
Etc.
And I think we kind of go on from there. So
that's where the introduction.
When do I get to shoot this commercial? Because this is fantastic.
Yeah, the introduction was so great, but we felt like, but it's related to Andy's question. So the initial question you asked, like, why did we save it to the end? I love that introduction so much. It's going to be in the director's cut of the book for sure, but it's just too strong. Like, I didn't want 4 out of 5 people to pick up the book and put it down before they got to the the introduction.
This should be the targeted advertisement video for this fucking thing. I can't see. I have shades on. Where can you buy it? The book? Chanarant.com/freedom.
That's right. Listen, you can read all the crazy shit that Andrew and Camille edited version of whatever the fuck they came up with. Chanarant.com/freedom, right?
So we're nearing the end. I know you have a hard out, Doogie. When's your hard out?
I was like, how'd you know I had a hard on? But you're talking about when I have to leave.
I can tell by your fidgeting he's getting a hard on.
He's squirming.
Just nodding. So I got like 20 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, perfect.
So real quick, don't get me wrong, that was fucking amazing. I do have some logistical questions. I don't know if those will be as interesting to the audience as they are to me. But
it's interesting to me.
The chance that I had to weave them in earlier kind of immediately went away to more interesting conversation.
I am eternally fascinated how things get done. Whatever the thing is. Usually music related, but it doesn't matter.
You fall into the rabbit hole and like the how it's made videos and
very
things
much.
Like that. Yep.
Oh my God, how things are made. I love those.
So fantastic.
Love those.
One of the questions that we received was, what were some of the difficulties with making this book across the world from each other? Because you're in New York and she's in Australia.
Besides Australian fucking slang or whatever the fuck.
And no internet in either place, apparently.
And Australian sensibilities that Andrew fucking hates, apparently.
Certain elements of the vocabulary are frustrating, to say the least, yeah. But I'm sure it goes both ways. I'm sure.
Did you have to spell check everything that was R-inspiring to awe-inspiring?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking OU goddamn shit.
Yeah, I think we got most of the Commonwealth spelling out of the book, I think, by the time it was published. Yeah.
If anyone spots one, let me know, because I was actually quite worried about that. I talked to a couple of my editing mates about because my role is usually pulling American spelling out of content and translating it into Australian style guides. So working in reverse is actually quite tricky. And I kind of just went through and did global searches for anything with a U in it. Like, we need to rip that shit out. Like, everything needs a Z, like, because of your bizarre fucking way of spelling shit. But yeah.
Well, I mean, we did win the world, so I mean,
yeah, it's kind of, you know.
Yeah, you won the world at fucking COVID. Anyway, I'm not getting into that.
But
so
who's back to normal? Who's allowing internal travel? America, motherfucker! That's right.
Society here is normal. We just can't fucking go anywhere.
Hey,
anyway,
who's getting vaccines from the U.S.? Australia, because we're every country in the fucking world. That's right.
I'm trapped in a prison colony again.
But then again, like it's a hard, like you can't just do like a find and replace, right? Because like if you're translating something from English to Australian, you have like the guy and the girl went to meet with their friends. And then if you translate to that in Australian, it's like the cunt and the cunt went to meet with some cunts.
No, yeah, look for cunt in everything.
I tell you what, writing that last chapter, writing that chapter without using the word cunt was a bit tricky, but anyway.
Cunt does not mean in America what you think it means.
The funniest thing that I think I ever saw, and I've probably mentioned on the show, was like, because like people struggle with pronouns. It's like him, he, him, she, her, like all that kind of stuff.
The whole thing now.
Don't get me wrong. Like I tell everyone, just tell me how you want to be addressed. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't give a fuck what you have going on downstairs. But Australians perfected it.
Just everybody's cunt.
Everybody's a cunt.
Absolutely.
You don't need any other.
The ultimate inclusive
pronouns.
Society.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like you don't need any other pronouns. It's just like intersex cunt, cis cunt, lesbian cunt. Like everybody's just cunt. That makes it the easiest fucking language.
Or prick. They do use prick a lot.
Prick is good. Yeah.
So answer the fucking question. I don't even remember what the question was.
What was the question again?
I got nothing.
Doogie Sower, he remembers.
So the question was, how did the collaboration process work from across the world?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well done, sir. You have a future in podcasting, and I have an eye for these kinds of things.
You think so?
Yeah. You got moxie, kid.
Yeah. So Camille, you want to take this one?
Well, time zones were a fuck.
Oh, we found that out scheduling this.
Hey, I'm the one that had to get up at fucking 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, Camille bit the bullet on this one.
The next addition to the studio is I'm literally gonna put like
world clocks.
I'm gonna have clocks on the wall of like what time it is everywhere.
Great idea.
Because we live in Vegas, so time has no meaning here.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that very well.
It's a 24-hour town. Like we work all hours of the day.
I go to the grocery store regularly at midnight.
Yeah,
regularly.
There's no problem there.
It's not even a question. But anyway, go ahead, Camille. Go ahead, Camille. Answer the question.
So yeah, no, I think the only time zone less conducive to like Australia and New York time is like the fucking moon. Like trying to find a time that worked, because Andrew's got a young family, right? So like trying to find a time when he wasn't busy with the kids or busy with dojo or like it was insanely early versus insanely late here was incredibly challenging. So I think we caught up initially like once a fortnight, and it ended up being like 10:30 p.m. for me or something, and like 6:30 a.m. for Andrew, I think.
Yeah, at best. Yeah, sometimes it was earlier than that, but yeah, it was. But I also think that was probably beneficial to the process as well, because we would meet up not that frequently, and then we got Google Docs is magical. And so once we really started writing, the vast majority of our process was all using the comments feature in Google Docs, and it was cool, really, really organized. Would feel.
I've worked with Camille. Of course, it was organized.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Really she's like funny. A fucking.
She's trying to hire her as an unpaid intern for years.
Oh my God. She does so much. She organizes my band for me on a regular basis.
Yeah. Like she finally couldn't take it anymore, because I had the Google Drive folder organized into a couple of folders.
Oh my God.
And
I want to see this.
She couldn't take it anymore. And so and I woke up one morning and it was all changed. And it was not how I would have done it, but I could tell, like, she put a lot of time into it. So I was like, Camille, did you have a bad day yesterday or something? And she's like, I'm sorry, I just couldn't fucking take it anymore. Like, there were not enough folders. There needs to be 18 folders for every chapter.
Fucking 18. That was like 3. It was very logically organized so that I could actually find documents when I was working on them.
I remember like when I was vice president for the pipe band, I was just like, all right, like, well, what are your projects you're going to do? I was like, I'm going to fix our shared drive. Our shared drive is a fucking nightmare.
Right. But I would, you did an amazing job. There's no doubt. But I would take Camille over you any day of the week.
I have no doubt.
Organization.
I have no doubt that she would do a better job.
Like it's like I can find shit now, which is great as president of the organization. But like Camille, oh my God.
Yeah, if you saw our band drives, you'd.
But yeah, no, like I remember that was the thing that used to drive me the most insane, and I'm still dealing with that with my with the Celtic Society. It's like, Jesus Christ, guys, like, well, I don't understand how Google Drive works. I was like, well, you need to fucking figure it out, or you're gonna be off the board. Like, it's
not that difficult.
It's 2021, man.
It's a search feature, motherfucker.
Yeah. It's 2021. Everyone has to like name, number, and collate their files correctly, or else I'm done with you. Like, I don't have time for this.
I think that
fuck off, boomers.
I think the real problem we had is that I think I had organized it just well enough that Camille felt like her needing to reorganize it might offend me. But it was totally fine. I was really quite happy with the result, but it was just like this really awkward thing. And finally, like, she just lost it and she couldn't take it anymore.
It's been bothering me for weeks, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it.
He's gonna be fine with it in the end. So like, but like any great pipe,
it gets better.
Any great pipe major, you're incredibly appreciative. I'm fucking drunk. Of anybody that takes the initiative and but does something as good or better than you would want it, right? Doogie, like, isn't that amazing when you have a player that's like, when somebody walks up behind you as a pipe major, let's just say you're tuning your band or whatever the fuck you're doing, and they walk up behind you and just take your pipes out of your hand without even having to be asked. Those people are fucking gold,
and they're few and far between
because they think ahead of
this experience. I had this experience on a gig like last week. I was like just telling Andy about this. I had to pipe major a gig because our pipe major was tied up. We got this new guy in the band, and it was like this fucking. And like, my band are very motivated people anyway, and like I love playing with them because they're all like, they love piping and they love the music and all that sort of stuff, and they're great fun to play with. But there's not many that take the initiative, and this bloke is like, he's like a general manager in his day job, so he's used to leading people and that sort of stuff. But he's like the perfect band player because he said, like, I don't want anything to do with band leadership. This is just a hobby. I just want to kind of hang out and have fun. But he can't help himself, and so like, I'm pipe majoring this gig, and he did exactly that. Like, I'm sitting there trying to tune up, and he's just come up and taken my pipes off me, and I was like, oh my God, like, I wasn't expecting the support, but when it happened, holy shit, that made life easier. Like,
those people are gold. Like, anticipate without overstepping. Like, it's amazing that people have that sensibility.
It's a weird thing because you and I have been playing music for so long that we have like a fucking telepathic communication at this point.
Yeah.
To where it's just like I'm just like, oh, like you like look, and I'm like, oh yeah, guys, back up.
Right, yeah. It's great to have those. Angel's pretty good at that.
Angel's pretty good.
Pulaski was good at that.
Pulaski was phenomenal.
He was really, because he's a leader. He knew what was expected.
But like, he's just running through the steps, right? So it's just like, all right, like, here's what we're gonna do, and it's just communication more than anything. And sometimes it's verbal, sometimes it's non-verbal, but it's like, hey, because I mean, there's plenty of times where you're like fucking with the drummers. I'm like, boss, like, what do you want?
What do you need on this side? Yeah.
Are we playing? Are we not playing? Like. Do you want me to just keep everyone in a room? Sometimes that's all it is. Just keep everybody in the fucking room so they don't go fucking off out God knows where.
Hey, you know what? You know what's important that we should mention right now? Chanarant.com/freedom.
If you want to get your copy of Finding Bagpipe Freedom.
I have one last question because we're getting close to Doogie having to bolt. This is going to start a fight between Doogie and Josh, and this is the best.
I'm not going to fight because I already know I'm right.
This is the best part of the show. How offended, Josh, are you that Doogie did not ask you to do the cover and make this better than what it is?
I'm not offended at all because I actually like the cover. The only criticism I have is that when you do graphic design, you're working in layers, and the white chanter being behind Freedom but in front of Bagpipe makes it look like it says BagFipe. And the white chainer was supposed to be at the back, and you can fight me. You can say that it wasn't supposed to be at the back. You can try to play this off as if that was intentional, but I know it's not because I know you.
Pretty sure it was intentional, bro. So the reason I didn't ask you to do the graphics, and also Camille got overruled too, is because Matt MacArthur is my graphics boy. He works at Vistaprint.
Oh, well, that qualifies him automatically.
Yeah. If you need $5 business cards, go to fucking Matt.
Yeah, you know what, though? It's like Matt made those fucking cheap $5 business cards that you still give out to all your clients, right?
Oh, no, I get mine locally, man. I support local business.
Absolutely.
So, like I said, you're just irritated that you didn't think about it yourself, that you didn't think of that really clever design yourself. That's all this is. You're going to get through it. You're fine.
Yes.
Good.
Gotham and one shitty vector of a Channer. That definitely is. that definitely overshadows the cover of the Dojo U plan.
It's not Gotham. Gotham would have been a lot easier to find.
I'm just saying it's the layer.
All right, so I have one. Doogie's about to go. I have one last thing I want to say.
Here's what I like about it. It's like where did the P go? I'm having trouble finding it. Wait, shit. The topic of the title of the book is about finding something. So it's like, wait, the graphic is like
of explaining.
The graphic is like it's like hidden behind the chanter, and it's
that's
like
what everyone. That's definitely what everyone's going to think when they look at it. But
I'm trying to find the P.
Cover aside, it's a phenomenal book.
They're trying.
Is that something?
Camille, don't step on my joke. I know where this is going. This is my joke. Finding the P, people. This is the story of my. That's the name of my book. Finding the P.
Wait, I thought yours would be Finding the V.
Whatever. Either way, trust me, it's finding the P when it comes to me.
Are you coming out? Are you coming out right now?
No.
Pride Month's over. You got to wait till next year.
That's it. That's going into the Dirtbag Olympic. Before we do go, Andrew, did you want to read out the, or did you want me to send to the boys to read out that review that we got?
Yes.
Ooh,
yes, absolutely.
I want to hear the review.
This would be a good way to close out the show. And then, Doogie, you're free to leave once we do the closeout. Ozzy, if you want to hang out and chat, you're more than welcome.
We should review this, but I have one more thing that I need to say before we read this final review. Doogie, I want you to thank Josh and I right now.
Thank you, Josh.
Why? And me.
Why?
Why?
What did we do? We didn't do anything.
What'd you do? What'd you do again?
We discovered Ozzy Broad.
That's true.
If it wasn't for us, you would not have her, motherfucker. I just want to say that officially. We discovered Ozzy Broad. And then we brought her in, and you brought her into the dojo fold.
That's true, yeah. We did discover
her. You should thank us. Your book wouldn't be as good as it is without her, which is thanks to us. Thank you.
I'm going to say something that I think you might find surprising. Which is I've had this exact thought many times over the recent months. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. I wonder, like, I'm a pretty big deal, so I wonder if Camille will find her way here eventually. But you're absolutely right. Your podcast certainly expedited this co-authorship duo. Definitely expedited it.
Nobody would know who Camille was if she didn't write to us. And
her band would know her as a trusted and dedicated bagpiper.
Yeah, that would be her fame in Brisbane, Australia. Which
would be pretty awesome. Internationally.
Episode 3, Camille writes to me like, "You're a fucking cunt for calling me Ozzy Broad," or whatever the fuck.
Camille has a theme here. I write to you guys and tell you that you're shit, and then all of a sudden all this stuff happens.
Camille had no idea that broad was like a kind of a semi-negative term in American culture. Kind of, sort of. It's not that negative, but it's kind of negative.
I actually didn't know that until like two years after you started calling me that. You're right. Like, someone else said, I think, like, "Oh, yeah, broad's like a slur." I'm like, fucking what?
It's kind of a feminine. Yeah, kind of. It's an old school term, but it's like gams or what. I don't know what the fuck.
I don't know.
Call a girl a skirt.
I'm leaning into it.
I'm okay with broad.
From my point of view, it was like, wait a minute. There's something like professional sounding happening on this ridiculous podcast right now. I wonder who that is.
It's Camille.
Yeah.
Doogie has been using our podcast to recruit talent for
many
a while
years
now.
I will give Doogie credit for this. He has an amazing eye for talent.
That is true.
The people he brings in.
Except for whoever did the cover for that book.
well, there's that. But
you know what the secret is? I'll tell you what the secret. Well, a big part of the secret is of identifying talent. You want to know what it is?
I would love to know. People that are willing to do anything.
So step one is look for people who have actually finished something. Mm-hmm. And that's where you start your search. So like for you guys actually put out a podcast, which is like horrendous. And like you guys made the worst. No, it's like you guys made
where is this going?
Possible. You guys made the worst possible decisions as to like what you should say on your podcast. Like especially in the early days, much better now, but you guys actually put out a product that was really entertaining. And then, Camille put together those word collage things, like those show reviews. And like, that was like, she actually completed that project and got it done. Like 95% of people, even if they do have talent, they can't freaking finish anything.
Correct. Yes.
And we were on that topic earlier, just, those people that can actually just get the job done are so valuable. And that's where you start. You start with people who have actually done something, and then a few of those will have real talent on top of that, I think.
You've always lived by the done is better than perfect concept, which is we didn't start that way. And then when you came in and we were like, you know what, that's pretty good. Let's just get shit done. Like,
especially when you're doing something that's weekly and it's like, all right, no one's gonna remember.
Well, we always argue that like half the battle, or maybe 90% of the battle, is showing up, which is a different spin on the same concept of like, if you're
showing up and then pressing the showing up, and then you have to press the upload button.
Correct.
Like, you got to do those two things. What happens in between is way overvalued.
Correct. Yeah. It's like it's just, I agree. And
that was one of the
Camille
reasons.
Found very irritating. Camille found that very irritating. She was like, bro, if you say done is better than perfect to me one more time. I was like, I'm sorry. I won't say it. I'll just think it.
That was like when
her job is perfect's better than done. Your job is done is better than perfect.
When I started doing the 100-day challenge and I was like doing videos, like those were my one-offs. And it was just like, I missed the fear of like public performance and competition stuff. I was like, guess what? If I do a video for the 100-day challenge and I fuck up, I'm just going to post it. Like,
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
I'm going to do another one tomorrow, and I'm going to do another one the next day.
I'll tell you what, if I had to listen to Josh playing Duncan McKinnis one more fucking time on the 100-day challenge.
Variance. But actually, that's funny because that was an important part of the process for me, and actually why I learned a lot from doing this project and that 100-day challenge most recently, where I posted a bunch of very shitty videos of me playing, is like overcoming that like fear of things not being perfect and people judging you is so fucking valuable. And like, I do get stuck in my head a bit with perfectionist tendencies. And even though he had to drag me kicking and screaming every time he said done was better than perfect, it was like I had to let go. And that's hard for me to do sometimes if something's not at the exact standard that I want it to be. And that was actually really good for me.
Oh, so, I can see that being really good. Yeah.
Well, like, and the thing that you have to remember that I've learned many times, because I've always lived by this mantra, is like, as soon as you can let go of perfection, the rate that you can approach perfection, right, drastically increases. So you have to let perfection go. And once you do that, you're like, okay, no, I'll just read through the book one more time. We caught a couple of more typos. Oh, another time. Oh, I think we should cut that from the introduction. It's just not quite right. It's like, oh, let's do it one more time. Oh, let's move the Bruce Lee quote to the end because I think this one goes better at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And like you've forgotten about perfection, and instead you're able to be more and more efficient with the process.
Yeah, you can approach perfection faster through iteration than trying to get it right in one go.
Amen, my brother.
17 iterations are better than one attempt at perfection.
So let's finish on this. Andrew,
you've got to put a British accent on. Andy.
Oh, Jesus Christ! You're better at the British accent. You do it.
I can't do accents.
Oh my God, Andrew! I have to say, wait. Wait. I have to.
Wait, is this the thing that we just got sent?
Yes.
Oh God, we're reading this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They want it read.
This is like This is top 3. This is top 3 best hate mail I've ever received.
Hate mail is the best.
And then I have to tell you something funny after you read this.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Well, I think we should do it like Satchmo style, like Andrew, I would very much.
No, not that. Do you want to do it?
No. I can't sustain that voice.
British.
I can't do British accent, but I'll fake it as best I can.
This is a real review.
Here's the Dojo's greatest hate mail of all time. You ready for this? All right, here we go. Andrew, I would very much like to buy your book, but because you do not seem to be able to accept the universal method of online international payment, namely PayPal, I am unable to order it. Furthermore, whilst Finding Bagpipe Freedom may play very well in the USA, it will it will be seen as incredibly insulting to Great Britain, where the publicity antics of that fool Prince Harry and his gold-digging wife Meghan Markle, whatever the fuck her name is, was treated with
she spelled it wrong.
He spelled it wrong. I'm trying to read it the way they spelled it, but are treated with utter disdain. Their book Finding Freedom is seen in Britain as a total repudiation of the greatest bagpipe expedients in the world, namely the only female person that has ever oh my god,
it sounds like this was written by AI.
Namely the only female person that has a personal bagpiper who plays for her every day, namely Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Using this title was a bad mistake and could very easily be taken the wrong way by loyal British piping community. Regards. Wow.
I have a response to that, but I can't play the title track because of copyright.
We'll get taken down.
Yeah. So all I'd like to say is, America, fuck yeah!
Andrew, you had a response to this.
That was a real thing, and what I found really funny about this is the guy ended up buying the book.
Of course he did.
So that's what I found really funny, and then I forgot the other thing that I was going to say about
also,
that.
I would argue that, and this is a direct quote, namely the only female person that has a personal bagpiper who plays for her every day, namely Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. That is not correct. I play bagpipes for my girlfriend every day.
Whether she likes it or not.
Because you're doing the 100-day challenge, yeah.
So,
the problem is she's begging you to stop doing that.
Guess what? My girlfriend, Queen Elizabeth, basically have the same amount of bagpipes.
What does Courtney think about your grips?
I think she thinks I have a strong grip on the ponytail. But
when you're behind,
but not enough on the neck.
Yeah, you're a little behind on the grip.
Yeah, a little behind.
Best position to be, I hear.
She's gonna punch me when she finds out about this. By the way,
don't worry, she'll never know. She'll never know. She won't listen to this.
I would like to make a blanket statement on behalf of all American bagpipers to this writer. Get fucked.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Just buy the book. Go to chanarant.com/freedom and pick up the book and start with the end chapters. If you're like one of our people, chances are you're going to like the end chapters first. Then go back and read through the actual information that's useful, which is the first two parts, essentially.
And then with this commenter in particular, when you get done doing that, drop your toaster in your bathtub.
That too. So, Doogie, should I take my band and make them join the dojo and have to pass phase 4 before they're allowed to do embellishments?
Yes, and we should also take all of their kilts until they complete that process.
You could do it. I mean, look, you could do that with or without the dojo. Like, let's leave that part of it out. Should you ask your individual constituents in your band to go through the Bagpipe Freedom process? Absolutely. If anybody actually had the guts to do that, they would see immense improvement in their band shockingly soon.
I absolutely agree, because I've seen it in our students. I've
seen 100%, it. I've seen it too many times.
Seen it.
It's not even students, dude. Like the shit, like me. I've been playing for fucking ever. I've gotten better in the last 2 years than the prior 5.
And you haven't even started the freedom phase process.
I'm not even close, man. Like, it's just one of those things where I am, when we talk about the constituency of people who just got stuck in a band model and played the same 2 sets forever, that was me when I was coming up, and now
it's everybody.
Now my mind is fucking open to all this other shit.
There's a lot out there. A lot of
potential. You should read the book and then, yeah.
Well, send me a book and I'll read it.
Dude, he gave you a fucking free copy. He sent it to us.
Oh,
digitally.
That one?
No. He sent us it digitally.
So you shitting your pants on my chair?
When are you guys getting a producer?
Dude, he sent it to us so we could be prepared for this. Remember?
Oh, I was not prepared. All right, I'm going to read the book, Doogie, and then I'll talk to you separately. But I will say this, okay. Even doing like the dojo stuff with Beer Boy, oh my God, like what a completely wasted.
How is that going? I don't think Doogie knows that you guys were doing this. They were trying to.
I've heard about this.
They're trying to 100% the dojo, which is a game thing.
And so we've been quiet for a while because we have had a hard time like reconnecting and talking about stuff. But oh my God, it's great. Even going through like the super basic shit, I've enjoyed. Because part of 100% is you gotta do everything.
Yeah.
The challenge to you and all your listeners, I would be really surprised if you could do any of the super basic shit well on the first try.
Almost impossible. The amount of ego that people come in with phase 1 and they're like, oh, fuck this. They're just fucking wanking out with. I'm like, and they fucking completely fail it. I'm like, hey, trying to find let me start with a good positive comment.
Are you gonna comment sandwiches?
I'm gonna let me give you a little what was it called? What is it called?
Comment sandwich?
Compliment sandwich.
Compliment sandwich. Okay, so that is an amazing recording you made for me. I can hear the metronome amazingly well. Thank you for making that happen for me. However,
everything else seems to be different.
You're just gently in front of the beat. You're floating around the beat a little bit. Sometimes you're a little ahead. Sometimes you're a little behind. At the dojo, we find it really important that you are as precise as possible, even in phase 1, to clap exactly to the beat so that we hear the eclipse, what's called the eclipsing the beat process. I'm drunk, so give me a little leeway, Andrew. So that way, the sound of your clap immediately happens over the sound of the metronome. Trust me, when you get to phase 2, this becomes really important. So, but excellent job of recording yourself and submitting it. You did an amazing job. Thank you.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. I like it.
All right, so we got to close this out because Dewey's got to go. I want to do final thoughts. Fusco, I don't have any, and I don't know if you have any. So I feel like we can really just throw to Ozzy first and then Doogie when it comes to finding your BagFipe freedom.
BagFipe?
BagFipe.
he's sticking to this BagFipe thing.
Episode title.
The red coat of envy you wear is not becoming.
Yes, I would have loved to make the $17 you paid whoever made that. It's definitely what I charge.
Doogie could not afford you. He was like, listen, I paid Camille all the money to edit this shit. I got like $17 left.
People are only
I need a cover.
The cover is only technically one page.
I can only afford $5. Who can make a cover for $5?
Like, let's put a little context to how Camille and I actually met. She's like, your social media is shit, bro. And I was like, I know. Oh, my God, please help. She's like, okay. And then after a week, I was like, cool. So like, I want to hire you. Let's do this. She's like, fuck no, you could never afford me in a million years.
That is very true.
That is exactly how that conversation went.
Yeah.
You can't afford me.
You're right.
Dude, so just like every woman ever, like every woman I've ever dated, you can't afford me.
Well, that's because they're not women, they're hookers. Well, hookers are women too.
Women are hookers, essentially. Right. Come on now.
Jesus, right, let's not sound clip
final thoughts. Give them the final thoughts.
All right, hold on. Give me a quick break so I can cut that.
You don't want to leave that in?
All right, so final thoughts going to Ozzy.
Wait, what are we cutting?
Final thoughts going to Ozzy, he repeated at a louder volume.
What are my final thoughts? This was a really fun project. I think it's a great product that I'm really proud of. It was It was excellent to work on. Tell people you think they're shit. It can lead to great things and great friendships. Oddly enough, I get on really well with Flex that don't need me to make them a sandwich. So final thoughts.
There you go. And Doogie, heading to you.
Wow. What a rewarding experience it was to work with such a professional as is Camille. I mean, boy, her grammar is just so amazing. And done is better than perfect. And I can't even complete the sandwich. I just feel so revolted after making the first piece of bread. That, No, it was super fun. I really hope people should buy the book and read it. It's the first bagpipe book I've ever seen that's like a fun read. I think that was the goal. So it's not just a textbook. It's like, like Josh, you're gonna wanna read it before you pull Courtney's hair.
That's perfect. And I can also use it to prop myself up, just in case I need that extra
inch.
Yeah, that extra inch.
We all need an extra inch, brother.
I want to take this opportunity.
Actually, Josh.
I want to take this opportunity to thank both of you for coming on, talking to us on the show. It's always a fucking pleasure to see you guys. And yeah, Fusco, if there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and play us out.